Hi there, welcome to this episode of the Dr. Todd Show. My name is Dr. Todd Austin from Austin Family Chiropractic in Burton, Illinois. And today we have on the show again Janet Cook. Janet is a health and wellness coach from Vivacious Wellness in Springfield, Illinois. So welcome back to the show, Janet.
Thank you.
And today we're going to talk about, the topic of the show is going to be emotional eating. Now, I know I've known people, family members, and patients that they eat when they're bored, they eat when they're upset, they have a great day and they celebrate by eating because they're happy. So, what would you like to tell us about emotional eating?
Oh, well, I'm an expert at that. If you really think about why we eat, think about when we're a baby. Our parents don't know what we need, so automatically assume a cry is, ready. That you're hungry.
Baby cries, shove a bottle in
Right.
his mouth.
Well, so you think about that. That's a program that gets set in place, and then you think about we're getting constant messages to eat all the time. In the media, drive down the street, you see all these restaurants, and then on magazines, we're constantly being cued to eat. Billboards, right. So one of the things I look at in my health coaching practice is what are you really hungry for? And so with most women or men, the people are lonely. So they use food to comfort. The food is a way that they think they're loving themselves. But oftentimes I find in my practice a lot of people are eating because they're angry, frustrated, confused. They're using, let's face it, food's a drug. I know like a lot of people, and I'm guilty of this. I know my foods that will make me feel good very fast, like bread. So, so it's understanding that connection and that food is there to feed us, not make us, I want to say, look like you have fooditis.
True, because if we look at our relatives back in the day, cavemen, you had to work hard to get that food.
Oh my gosh.
And you had to work hard to not get eaten by the saber-toothed tiger to get that food.
I wonder if they had adrenal fatigue.
Yeah. And of course now there's a fast food joint or a convenience store in every corner.
Oh, right. Well, I forget the book. Oh, and forgive me. I used to be a head of the Food and Drug Administration and wrote a book. Oh gosh. Anyway, it's a book up in my library. But this person talked about how we also become addicted to food because it's loaded with sugar, salt, and fat. So our brains crave those things.
Exactly.
And so one of the things that I work on, Todd, in my practice is teaching people about primary foods and secondary foods. So primary foods are a career that we enjoy, relationships that are loving and supporting and nurturing and are transparent and good communication, a spirituality practice, so taking even 15 minutes every day to reflect upon what I'm grateful for or connecting with my higher power or God, and then some type of physical activity several times a week.
Third one could be doing an affirmation.
Absolutely.
It could be just quiet time, meditation, a deep breathing exercise.
Yes, I find a lot.
Self-hypnosis, any of those.
Yes,
things.
all the above. Those are all spiritual. It's a practice. So when you or I or anybody creates that feeds us. And then the secondary foods, which I help people create, is bio-individual eating programs and learning what feeds them. So I'm a huge advocate of greens, beans, fruits, vegetables, and then good sources of clean protein. And so when we match that with primary foods and have a plan, I find people are far more successful in managing their emotional eating. And it's also to look at triggers. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you drinking enough water? Some people oftentimes are dehydrated. And then another thing that people, if they don't eat breakfast within the first hour of being up or by 9 o'clock, for women, what happens is if they skip breakfast, then it just, the world all of a sudden, their serotonin drops, and then they get overwhelmed, and then a lot of women binge.
And of course, that's a classic sign of people with adrenal issues. Is they always want to skip breakfast.
Right.
People with healthy adrenals usually eat breakfast.
Absolutely. And then, like, also with men who skip breakfast, then they start eating at noontime and then just can't stop until they go to bed. So it's, again, understanding what's going on to our self-talk in our body. And I think people are overscheduled, and people can't say no, and people don't have a plan and just think that they can live like they did when they were a kid or a teenager and just wing it. And so I think all those things feed into emotional eating.
True. And another thing, that I was reading a book today, Grain Brain by Dr. Perlmutter, and I'm listening to the audiobook of it too. But one thing that I actually heard an audiobook like 3 days ago was that he said if we reduce our portion size, it can decrease our risk of Alzheimer's. And of course, I'm afraid of getting Alzheimer's. So I've noticed that since I heard that and the message is fresh in my mind, that when I'm eating and I'm realize I'm full, even though I have like a third of a plate left, I'm just like, I'm gonna put that away and have it some other time, because I guess I really don't need it right now.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people live very crazy, hectic, long days. So they feel like food is a way to reward themselves. And so one of the things I work on is helping people to split up their meals, and so that they have smaller meals throughout the day.
True.
And to maintain blood sugar, and then also to look at what they're eating at certain times of the day. So, like, I encourage people not to eat fruit in the afternoon. You want to eat it earlier in the day so that you don't have the blood sugar crash. And then also the importance of supplementation. So I know we'll talk a little bit more about fish oils, but things like that in your body just help the body where it's deficient. Our bodies tell us all the time, like cravings, for example. When people have sweet cravings, I usually have them eat root vegetables. And then people with salt cravings usually means there's a mineral deficiency. Or people who are drinking a lot of soda, I know, that's just a accident waiting to happen with emotional eating. So really looking at blood sugar spikes and what causes that, and the effects on emotional eating.
Well, thank you for joining me on the show today, Janet, and some excellent advice on emotional eating. So if you're an emotional eater, you may want to take some of this advice to heart and try to make a change for the better. And thank you for watching.